Hi, welcome to the module on strengths. All of us are born with one or the other strength. For example, some people like to play sports, some people like to sing, some people are good at filmmaking, some people are good at storytelling, some people are good at writing, some at science, and some at arts. All of us are born with some or the other strengths. Businesses aligned with your strengths do very well. In this module, we will understand how to identify your strengths and how to utilize them for your business. Mind you, there is also a difference between strengths and skills, which we will talk about. But first, let's go to this story. This is the story of Sarah, a story from of failure to leadership. So Sarah was working in a company as a mid-level marketing coordinator for 3 years, and she was feeling very stuck. And she always felt that she was failing. Her boss was unhappy with her because, according to him, she was spending too much time listening to customers. She would rather be spending time on campaigns. Her team felt the similar way, and she was not very happy with the role that was given to her. So she felt scattered, unfocused, and considered quitting also. But a very interesting thing happened. Her boss, during a restructuring program, assigned her to customer support or managing customer complaints. This is where things got very interesting. You know, somehow customer complaints dropped by 60%. Customers were getting better resolutions faster, they were leaving positive reviews, and especially mentioning Sarah's name. The CEO noticed all of this and asked what was different. Sarah realized unconsciously that she had been applying the one thing principle. We'll talk about this principle in our following modules as well. And I will also recommend certain books. One of the books being The One Thing by Gary Keller. Um don't worry, I will leave the links in the resources for you to look at these books. So while she thought that she's good at something, she was excelling or she was failing at one skill or strength, she was actually excelling at customer psychology. So all those interrupting conversations were actually deep research for her. Her annoying questions were uncovering insights for the company. She had now identified her strength. And how did she leverage this strength? Now, because she had gained customer success, she now started creating a lot of processes within the company, which turned every complaint into customer intelligence. So, using the influence principles, she identified that customers didn't want solutions; they wanted to be felt understood, right? And because she was doing her job so well, and there was enough evidence of her doing great, she got a promotion. She was head of customer experience, and her and company's revenue, because of her contribution, increased by 40%. So insight, Sarah perceived this weakness being too social. So her weakness was being too social and asking too many questions, but actually that was her strength. you know and her early failures just were misaligned context. So for example, she was given a role that she was not designed for. That was not her natural strength. So irrespective of what the role brought, or how much money did that role generated for that, it did not bring value to anyone, not the company, not her personal growth. So your struggles might be pointing you towards your strengths in disguise. So never take any failure to your heart. Let's look at what we learn from those failures. So we just heard Sarah's story. And from that story, we realize that your strengths are your natural superpowers. If you are born with them, you should align your roles according to these strengths. But let's also try and understand the difference between strength and skills, because that could be very confusing. So skills can be learned, strengths are natural. You develop skills in your strength areas faster. So, for example, if you are a creative person, you would pick up creative softwares faster. Um, if you're good at writing in general, you might pick up marketing writing or copywriting faster, right? So, these are skills that you can work on based on your strength. Skills without strength is equal to competence. Strengths plus skills is equal to excellence. That's what we saw or went through in Sarah's story, right? Her being too social was her strength, which was being misused in some other department. So we need to identify what skill set or what strengths will help us succeed or become better or become excellent at our work. One of the things that I always tell people is that people start fixing their weaknesses, right? I am weak at this, let me fix this. Rather, develop on your strengths. What are you good at? Work on that a little more so you can be the best at it. So, hidden strengths you don't even recognize. In Sarah's case, she was put into customer complaints, and then she realized that that was her hidden strength. And then, she made the best out of that. Childhood interests often point you towards your natural strengths. Pay attention to what people always ask you for help with. Do they ask your advice in a complex situation? What kind of strengths do they come to you for? Like a lot of people come to me for advice on marketing, right? Or advice on just looking at the problem, right? So you say, okay, give me a perspective on this problem. Is this the real problem, right? So problem identification is one of my strengths, and I've built it over a period of time, enhanced it with acquiring the right skills as well. Um, so yeah, so people l- figure out what people come to you for. Strengths obviously will build confidence.